Let's get some stuff done. We'll talk 5 pillars just real quick. I just want you guys to be able to have the information on that, just so that you know kind of what makes us different. I'm gonna spend a minute on a feedback loop, and I want to spend a minute on a few key things for the blue carpet experience. Does that sound good? The 5 pillars, let's start there, because it's fundamentally who we are and what we do is 5 things. Hey Pete, somebody's gonna ask what makes Burn different, okay? I'm going to give you 2 versions. I'm gonna give you one that's like the elevator pitch version, just so that you have the language, so that like when you're high-fiving the clerk at the like gas station and they ask about Burn, you can tell them what Burn is in like a quick little nugget, okay? That's what's called the core focus, okay? And then we have the 5 pillars, which is the philosophy of Burn Boot Camp and who we are basically. Guys, all of this stuff is a part of the greater system called the Burn operating system, okay? And as trainers, especially, I want you guys, because the business people, we do the business stuff, right? But I want you guys to learn the business side of things too. The ops managers and BAs are going to get a lot more of that type of training, and obviously you guys are going to get a lot more of like the hands-on type of training. But one thing that is one thing that I desire to see through in the organization is that trainers learn business. So that's why we like to go deep with you guys, okay? And should you be on the ops side and you want to learn training? Great, we'll do that too, right? It should be everybody should know enough about each other's job to be dangerous. That's the way I like to think about it. So the 5 pillars is everybody's responsibility. Number 1 is challenging workouts. Why? Because we sell confidence, not memberships. And when we are helping people do something they've never done before, ever in their life, like Shelly did today on the 46 step-ups, and then I call that out and I high-five her, now Shelly's gonna remember that moment forever, right? And she's always gonna remember when she did 46 on the day Devan came, because it was exaggerated and emphasized, embossed and stamped right in front of all of her peers, right? Everybody simultaneously looked at her and said, great job. How many times do you think Shelly's had 65 people all look at her at one time and tell her how awesome she is? Probably not very often, if ever, right? So what we have at stake here on pillar number 1 is intensity. That's really what's so important. Intensity is everything. You guys hear me say that before. I'm going to keep saying that. Intensity is everything. Intensity with the individual, intensity with the camp, intensity with the groups, intensity with the energy, intensity with how you carry yourself. Your body language matches your words, and then obviously you go through what's called the methods of training. Pete, we talked about this morning. Can you recite for us the methods of training from the highest level, so that we can, if not, I can help you out. It's not a big deal. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. So the methods of training start with form, then we increase load, okay, and then we go to methods of training. This is all part of challenging workouts, right? So what I saw a couple times when I'm here is I saw rep manipulation before I saw form and load. Okay, so let's give an example real quick. So if I got a weighted squat and I have 25 pounds in each hand and I'm going down to squat it, okay? And you go over and instead of giving me heavier weights, like my form's good, check that box, move on to the next one, load, okay? You have to stop there. Okay, you don't go past load to rep manipulation. Answer me this. Who's ever said, oh, I PR'd on my triple pulse squats today? Nobody. No one's ever said that. No one cares about PRing on their triple pulse squats. What they care about PRing is on their back squats, their weighted squats. So load, and then you can manipulate the reps. Oftentimes, I'm only manipulating reps if I have to. If it's a strength day, it's load, and I may ask somebody to hold because there's 13 seconds left and they should have had heavier weight and I need them to hold real quick to fatigue that muscle group. But it's form, it's load, and it's rep manipulation, and that's challenging workouts, okay? And so there's one more concept, that's the trainer concept. There's one more concept that I wanted to teach you, and this is for the ops side. It's called RPE. Trainers, what's RPE mean? Deb, you know what RPE means? Rate of perceived exertion. Can you explain that from the other side, what that means to you?
Well, it's how intense someone is feeling in a workout?
Yes. What do you think 0 looks like?
Walking a day in a park.
Exactly. Sleeping. That might be a 1.
Smelling the daisies.
Yeah, for sure. What's a 10 look like?
Slowly dying.
You're slowly dying, right? We all know what this looks like, don't we, trainers? Slowly dying is like, screaming and everything's pulsing and it's all red, and 0 sleeping. Now, as somebody who is observing, let's say Shannon, somebody observing, you can look out at the camp and at the 25-minute mark, you can scan and you can say, there's either, out of 27 people or whatever, there's 10, 13, 20, 27. Some number are at a 10 out of 10. Okay? That is how we all communicate around pillar number 1. Because ops can see it, Child Watch can see it. They're your members. You better listen to them, right? They don't need to give you technical training for them to know that you're being soft in that camp, right? And not pushing people as hard as you could. And I know this isn't a problem with you guys a lot of times because you're not going to have, you guys got a lot of members. So you have something?
Yeah, before we move on to the second one when you're done.
Okay. So the last point to kind of wrap that one up is this is where the feedback loop comes in, okay? It's the number 1 pillar for a reason. It's like without it, nothing else exists. So we need everybody on deck, all hands on deck inside of the building to make sure that challenging workouts are being manifest, okay? Because the one thing we can't do is leave confidence on the table for our members. We have to get, every day is an opportunity to fill up that confidence cup that comes in empty, we got to fill it up. And it can't be because, Deb is having a bad day. It can't be because Shannon isn't here. It can't be because Vicky's sick, right? It's got to be everybody all the time. Okay, have you got like how many camps now? 50, right? Do you know what RPE is? Do you thoroughly get that? You say now you can add value to the organization. So it's all of us conspiring together to make sure members are all getting there. You guys follow me? That's challenging workouts, Shannon. Okay. Usually the person, just hang with me, okay? Okay, usually the person that says that was way too challenging, okay, is who? Describe this person.
Deconditioned.
Okay. Generally speaking, right? You don't really get myself to come into a gym and be like, that was too challenging.
Or they're coming from a ballet bar.
Okay. It was too challenging. They mean it. Like, listen to them. Like, you shouldn't try to like flex the hero muscle on them the first day. Okay, so when we come in.
Sorry, I got Cheetos.
You ready? Okay,
everywhere.
we got Cheetos everywhere. Okay, so when we come in for a camp and I got people, I have somebody, and let's just say we have this movement here, it's boom, and you're hopping up. Okay, it's Vicky's first day. I know she's ultra deconditioned. I know I want to close her. Okay, I'm taking her outside her comfort zone and challenging her, but I'm doing it through the lens of empathy, not through difficulty, right? So I'm going to say, okay, see this crazy movement we're all doing here on the sidelines? Listen, it's not that we can't, it's that we just haven't yet. We'll get there down in the future somewhere down the line. These people are crazy, okay? All right, what we're going to do today to get you started, because I want you to have a great time, right? It's not about me like challenging you today, okay? It's about you having a great time. So all I want you to do is just step up on this ledge, all right? Back and forth. You see that left foot? You see I'm going up with the left foot first? You're going to hear me say switch, and all I want you to do is what?
Go up with the right.
Go up with the right foot. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, I'm giving her control. I did a few things particularly. I am empathizing with her because I'm getting on her level. I'm speaking her tone. I'm mirroring the way that she is a deconditioned person would act, right? I'm not like, hey, how you doing? You doing really good? You want to work hard today? You're like, no, dude, get away from me. Like go. Like, they're gone then, right? So we have to mirror. You mirror and match the person that we're working with, okay? And then it's lowering the perception of the challenge by agreeing that the things that we're doing are too hard. I just agreed with her. Look at these, you see these crazy people? That looks crazy, doesn't it? You said, yeah, it looks crazy, I ain't doing that. I said, I wasn't gonna make you, right? It's not for you today. This is a one-on-one relationship. And if you get so challenged after today that you don't want to come back, I didn't do my job. My job is to make you want to come back tomorrow.
New people.
Ever. Never, period. And the reason is because I am in a position, like you don't get pulled over by a police officer or somebody who's authoritarian. And they don't say, hey, pull over however you want. Just make sure you pull over. They say, pull over on the other side of the line, keep your hands on the wheel, get your license, don't move. And you don't do things they don't say, because the ultimate sign of a we can call it player-coach relationship, or an authoritarian relationship. You can call it either of those things. That second version is like a little harsh, but that's really what it is. Like, if you boil it down to like human psychology, you are the leader, they are the person that has no idea what they're doing in the gym. So you can't let them just do whatever they want. Even if they are doing something that's modified on their own, they're gonna find less value in you if you don't give it to them and they do it themselves. Because what do they need you for if they can just do it alone? So my personal belief is I'm never letting people modify. I'm also never telling people that, you know, they can, if they don't like it or they don't want it. Like, I'm just really good at reading a person and saying, how are you doing? How you doing? Too fast, too slow? And it's not really good at it. That sounds like braggadocious. It's just asking the question. I'm really good at asking the question. How are you feeling? How do you feel right now? I don't want you to get to your heart rate too high today. It's our first day. We're not going to achieve all of our goals. It's just your job to get sweaty day. And I'll check on them in 3 more minutes. How you feeling? I will never let it get to the point where, like, hey, how you doing over there? Like, if it's too hard, let me know. Like, it never gets to that point because I'm on them the whole time. I have 85% of my attention on the new people and 15% of my attention on the people that are already here. And when I was training full time, I was closing like 80% of people that would come to the door, because when a new person came to the door, I was going to mirror that person and match that person and follow them around the entire gym. It was not up to any, like, there was no chance they're having a bad experience. People didn't join because it wasn't because they didn't have fun. It's because they didn't want the money or they really didn't want it. Like, the people aren't gonna join for reasons. Like, you're not gonna close everyone, but those people that are like kind of on the edge, you know, we do some of these things that we're talking about and maybe take them under our wing and say, hey, don't worry, I got every step of the way. We do that, and it's the handoff. And so I take you out on the floor and I hand you off to Leslie, and I tell Leslie, you told Leslie the conversation that you and I already had. Hey Leslie, hey Vic, this is our trainer Leslie, and you know, she's brand new today. This is her very first day, and you know, I promised her that we were going to take care of her. That things, she's really nervous, okay, right? And we talked about this, and it's okay to be nervous, but I'm not going to let you do more today than you should, and that's Leslie's job too. She's going to be on you the whole camp, but not on you to make you challenge, but on you to make sure that you have fun so that you can come back tomorrow. That's really the game, and then you have to actually do it, and that's the hard part, because now you have 60 people in camp or whatever, and then you have those other 2, and then it's those 2 people that are like brand new. Okay, now we probably have to partner them up. If you're the only trainer on the floor, wave in a BA and just kind of have your back and to have some support there. But I just want to urge you guys to not let people do whatever they want, or not like let them be on their own when they're here. And that for that trainer to just really grab a hold of control and say, I refuse to have this person, I refuse to let them go long enough to where they could even potentially have a bad experience. Yeah, well, I'm always going to ask you, is there a reason you're modifying?
Right.
If you just do it like randomly, because you're an athlete, right? Like, and people do that. I always say, is there a reason you're modifying? Do you know why you're modifying this? Right. What muscle group are you trying to work? And I always ask them 4 questions, and if it's not you, you're a trainer, right? But like, most people are gonna be like, oh, I have no idea. Would you like something better that's more in alignment with the workout that we're doing today? And then they can shift. And you know, people will go over and do shoulder presses on like a cardio day, and it's like, okay, we should probably think that through a little bit. Yeah. Is that helpful? Mm-hmm. That's like edge cases. These are edge cases. And these are good questions, because you guys are gonna get a lot of edge cases like this. How many times a week does that happen here, do you think, where like you get a person that is just like you guys are describing? Where'd she come here?
Yeah.
What camp?
My last night, 5:30.
5:30 camp here. And did you do some of the things we're talking about?
Yes.
And what did she say right before she left?
She said she had a great time and she'd see you tomorrow.
Like,
okay.
I got her into a focus meeting, and she canceled it.
She canceled it?
That's in the email right now, yeah.
Okay. Then I would reach out and I would say, hey, it's very important to me that you had a great experience, and you know, it seems that you canceled this focus meeting that you didn't, and I want to be better, and I was wondering if you could teach me how to be better, and layer humility in, and oftentimes that will revive them. Man, that one exercise that you did was like so hard for me, and I had this injury, and you didn't ask, or whatever happens. Something will probably come up to where there was we went wrong somewhere. We just don't know where unless we really ask them. Good? Good? Is that helpful? I don't have all the answers, by the way, but at the end of the day, like there's some principles for us to at least try to mitigate the members that come in that don't end up joining. Obviously, we want to get that closing percentage up, and all these little things are really going to help that. Okay, number 2, focus mindset. Okay, focus meetings. Who knows my 3 focus meetings? Break the pattern, good. Close. That's the last one, Pete. What's the middle one? Who said that? Someone said build the plan. Those 3 things. Okay, break the pattern, build the plan, deep dive. These are what I call sandboxes for you. And what we've done is we've provided tools within that sandbox, and y'all can build whatever sandcastle that you want with your members. I have no idea. You guys are the experts, the top 1%. You're the best trainers I know. I have no desire or need to tell you how to conduct a focus meeting. I'll just give you an example. I'll set up the structure, the sandbox, and then I'll give you an example. And that's what's in our trainer manual. Now, front of the house, we need to be dangerous enough to know what's going on in here, right? You should be able to repeat back the 3 focus meeting structures and then repeat like what each one is for, and then know how to identify who, like people and where they would go. There's, I won't go too deep into this, but has anybody heard the MASK acronym, MASK? People wear a mask. If it's an M, they need motivation, and that's their mask that they're wearing. If it's an A, they need accountability. If it's an S, they need skill. And if it's a K, they need knowledge. So if they need motivation, accountability, skill, or knowledge, that's going to align you into the focus meeting for members, okay, that are already members that haven't been into a focus meeting in a while. The first one, break the pattern, is going to disrupt all of the preconceived notions people have had of a gym. What happens when you go, okay, so you're one of our newer trainers. Who is the newest out of you guys, by the way? Okay, Kayla, how many camps have you done? Just roughly, just give me a shot.
Like shadowing too?
Oh, perfect, so you're in that phase, okay. No, that's good.
Probably done 5, 6.
So, have you ever been a trainer before? Is this your first opportunity?
I've been a trainer.
Okay, where'd you train at?
A local gym.
Okay, what was the consultation like when you walked in for that first consultation, whatever it was for training? Usually it's, I throw you on a scale, I throw you some body scanner, I bring up all your metrics, all your biometrics of where they are versus where they need to be, and I put you in a pressurized situation.
That's the last thing I do for someone.
Right. So here, the first thing we do is say, what is your vision and why? And that's it. And then just be quiet. Because we talked about it, like how many people actually get to share their vision with people? Not very often. I mean, no one's ever asked me, I don't think, outside of like maybe the last 2 years. Before then, no one's ever asked me what's your vision and why. I like talking about it, certainly, because I think about it all the time, and no one is asking me, and as soon as someone asks me, I'm like, y'all, I won't shut up for 14 minutes during that 15-minute session. Now, I've heard oftentimes that focus meetings are not long enough. Well, that's probably because we're trying to solve their problems. Our job is to not solve their problems. Our job is to listen. So if you don't say anything in the first one, okay, break the pattern. It means tell me your vision and why, and then be quiet, or say tell me more all the way until the end. That's going to break their pattern, because most times, although you had an organization that did it better than most, if you go into any box gym, like big major box gym, Lifestyle, Family Fitness, LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, Crunch, all those, they're going to say, go in the scale, get your thing, and nobody wants to really do that. Who in this room is motivated by biometrics? Like if you love to get on the scale and look at your biometrics and all that. 1, 2, okay, so that's a good sample size, 20, 10, 15%. Not the vast majority of people are terribly nervous of those things. And yeah, do your thing, see ya. All right?
Thank you.
What's the third one?
For what? What happened?
Pillar.
Why did you do that?
She's gonna leave. She's gonna leave. We got it, we'll record it. We'll give it to you later. That's important, right? Because those 3 focus meetings are going to be how you help people navigate their focus mindset. And the execution of those is 85% on you and 15% by structure. So know the structure. The structure's in the BLP. It's me talking about it on the BLP. Have you seen it? Okay. Has anybody not seen it? So this is bringing back some memories. Did you see it, Kevin? The BLP. Do we have people being onboarded onto the BLP day one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Kevin, let's go. Get to it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm totally kidding.
Onboarding was a rock.
It was a rock for you guys. Okay, cool. Well, my point is all this stuff is there on the BLP, and so I'm not going to go super deep into it. It's just pointing at it to let you know, like, a couple nuggets and what it's for. All right. So it's break the pattern, build the plan, deep dive. Focus meetings are moving more and more toward performance goals. What's a focus mindset? Focus mindset, and with that and having a goal orientation, to me, equals performance goals. That's what I've seen move the needle the most with people, is when we are helping them do a specific movement that they never thought they could do. And that, to me, is powerful. So you find out what their why is, let's say, let them talk. You'll hear a hot button in that first session, and you'll know because why? Sure. And what's usually associated with that? When do they get to the point in their story when they start to tear?
When they've hit their hot button of what matters to them.
And which usually is?
I think the first question would...
Close. You just keep tracking logically. What's the most important thing to you?
Self-esteem.
It is?
No, not me, but that's what I think.
Okay.
it is for them.
Okay. Anybody else? Family. There it is. Hot buttons are always equal love. Always. We had a podcast today. Pete was vulnerable enough to open up to talk about his father. When Pete started talking about his father, hot button, because he started getting him a little emotional in a very good way, and he was really opening up to Burn Nation and letting them in, and people really value that. People really value vulnerability, and so when you hear it, bam, hot button. And that's what you need to relay to the rest of your people. Hey, Susie's got a little kid. He's 7. His name's Johnny. I pulled up a picture of him. Here he is. Johnny's got autism. He's level 4. She does nothing else in her life for herself. Everything is for Johnny. Okay? Her biggest outcome of being here is to take care of herself so that she can feel adequate and have high energy for Johnny. That's the hot button. Right? If we find that out about all of our members, we won't have a retention problem. We won't, because you're now going to be connected into their inner world, and you're going to have what's most important to them. You're going to identify, and people feel heard and listened to when they can talk to you for 14 minutes, and then you can pick out the one thing that they actually could have just said in like 2 seconds. Hey, I'm here for Johnny, my son who has autism, because I want to be the best mom ever. Like, they could have said that, but they need the 14 minutes because no one has ever asked them, so they don't have the words to language it yet, right? And then you go into the technical stuff that you all want to dive into and like get your hands on, because that's like the fun stuff, right? You're like building the castle. You're how many camps are you going to come to? Let's do your 3-day food log, blah, 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 blah. And we go into the whole 9 yards of like building their plan. And then the plan has elements of it, 3, 4, 5 elements of it, whether it's camp consistency, nutrition goals, performance goals. All these questions, by the way, are in the prompt in the Focus Meeting BLP course. And then the last one is deep dive, where you take any one of those individual items that equal the plan, and then you carry that over to the third focus meeting and you go deep on it, right? So the one I like to carry over the most is the performance goal. And because when we focus on performance and everything we can gain, then people aren't as focused on what they could lose or what they have to lose. Who wants to lose stuff? I don't lose stuff, especially my wallet, so I can't come see you guys. I don't want to lose stuff. I want to gain stuff, right? I want to gain confidence. I want to gain tenacity. I want to gain performance. I want to gain pull-ups. I want to gain muscle. And if we can talk like that, well, then we're going to break the pattern full time for people who are always used to associating things in a negative light. So those are the 3. That's focus mindset, that's goal orientation, and that's nutrition education. Those 3 things. Okay? And now we're at 4 of the 5 pillars. What's the last one? Empowering community. Empowering community. That's the glue, right? That holds it all together. You guys do that best of the best. You guys are really, really good at that. if I had an area of opportunity for you to work on, it would be keeping track of your focus meetings, making sure that you give that as a measurable, because in the Burn operating system, the BOS, everyone has a measurement. That's part of the philosophy, is everyone has a measurement. Shannon, I'm gonna do this, not to call you out, but just to show the gap for you, okay? Who has a one single measurement right now they're responsible for, knowing inside and out everything about that measurement? Raise your hand.
Like a person?
Or multiple. Yeah, a person. No. A business measurement, a scorecard measurement. Raise your hand if you do. Okay, you have one. What's yours? Retention. Okay. Was that given to you? Okay, and what's yours?
400 members in Webster.
Okay. Does anybody else not have one? So no. Okay, so there's a gap that everybody has to have a measurable, right? So somebody's measurable for this gym and somebody's measurable for the other gym can be focus meetings, right? How many focus meetings are available in 30 days or the last week, whatever your time frame is, and then how many do we actually execute on? And who were they? And who were the people that moved the needle the most? And who signed right after the focus meeting? And oh, Pete, what did you say to Sarah? Because she signed right after your focus meeting. What did you say to her? Like, we need to do that. We need to scale that more because that really worked. She told me she wasn't going to join. She goes and meets with you for 15 minutes. She's buying Afterburn, Ignite, 3 pairs of pants, and now she's like an 18-month member. What did you do? Did you just bat your eyes and say, I got you? Like, what did you do? You know? No?
What I have on my list, so the measurable is there, focus meeting after every camp. Trainer takes a rotation of posting once a week in the member page. We don't track them.
Okay.
They're measured, they're not tracked.
Okay.
Which means they fall off.
Which means they're not measured. If you don't know,
Accountable,
how long is a ruler?
accountability chart, but not.
How long is a ruler? A standard ruler. 12 inches. You know it because it's the measurement. If you're tracking it but not measuring it, you're not measuring it. You're just looking at it. I can look at a tape measure. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to be honest because that's not the same thing. Tracking it is just looking at it. Measuring it is looking at tracking it and then quantifying the tracking. How many, like what percentage, you're not tracking unless you have a percentage out of 10 or a percentage out of 100, right? So how many focus meetings were available? How many did we do? And then out of the ones we did, what were the top 3 that we learned something from? What were the bottom 3 that we lost? And then
It's on the accountability chart by role, doesn't count.
it's got to be on your, if it's on your accountability chart, it's got to be on your scorecard.
Gotcha.
So all of your measurables should be on your scorecard.
Yep.
Okay, follow?
Yep.
Okay, good. And then empowering community, you guys are really good at that. Those are the 5 pillars. Those are all the things you guys are doing, all the reasons you're here. I don't need to go into that, do I? You guys are really, really good at that, right? But those first 4, between focus meetings, the 2 main products in the gym, right, which is the focus meetings and the camp on the floor, these things, to be the best in the world at these things, we got to really pay meticulous attention to detail, which is why when I say we're having level 10s and Shannon's like, and this is something we're working on, she says, yes, we are, but not as consistently as we need to. Guys, level 10s is a non-negotiable. That's just part of business. You have to show up to these level 10 meetings. If you're a full-time salary employee, you show up because it's part of your job. And if you're part-time, if you're in my organization, I'm going to compensate you in alignment with what you would be compensated for in a normal hour to be at that meeting. And then it would be an expectation to me that everybody's there, right? Or at least the people that I wanted, to the key leadership and the people that need to be a part of those meetings. So really how it should work in a multi-unit scenario is that you have a leadership meeting and then 2 gym level 10s. So that you're not over meeting and things like that. Because how many of you have been a part of an email, and trust me, I've done this so many times, so I'm not trying to call anyone out. How many of you have been part of a meeting that just could have been email? Right? I mean, that's like, it just could have been an email. It didn't need to be a meeting. Level 10s in the structure of that, right, opens with personal, professional, best, goes to scorecard, goes to rocks, then it goes to franchise partner headline, then it goes to IDS, then it goes to cascading messages, and then it goes to to-dos. Like those are the elements and the structure of it, and we need to follow that verbatim because trainers, that's how you guys are going to learn business, right? That's how we're going to learn business, all right? So level 10s are very, very important.
So using the focus meeting.
Yep.
Example, scorecard at gym level. Say we're tracking focus meetings. Track that by the leadership level 10, and then are the numbers percentage-wise where we want them to be for both gyms, but they are tracked by trainer at the in-gym meeting, right? Do I got that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can choose to have a scorecard for each business, or you can choose to have an aggregate scorecard. I call that the enterprise scorecard. Okay? So these are just some things that as we move forward that you're going to come down the line that I just trying to plant the seeds so that you guys can, know that, hey, listen, okay, here's the great thing. You're doing so well. You guys are doing so well. You have 800 members in 2 gyms. You're doing really well. You guys are well put together, super team. Imagine what can happen when you actually start like putting an infrastructure together that everything's intentional, everything's on purpose, everything's tracked, everybody's got a measurable, and then there's celebration around all of that, right? And then we're able to really celebrate one another for the good things that we are doing. Because how many times, maybe Kayla, you're brand new, so if you don't feel like you can step in and add value to the team right away because you don't really know what's going on and you don't know any of the vernacular and maybe the onboarding wasn't the right way, can be frustrating, couldn't it? I know for a fact it's frustrating because I've had people at HQ who came on that did not get onboarded very well at all. And I've lost a couple good people because they did not get onboarded really well. And they didn't have all the information, tools, knowledge, transparency that they needed in order to do the job well, right? I mean, can you execute at your full-time job as a firefighter? Thank you, by the way. Can you execute full-time if you don't get your training done? No, because it's life or death situation, right? And that's different because now you're not going to allow somebody else to send you into the fire unless you get the training. So you demand the training out of them. And it's an institution, so they give it to you anyway. But he couldn't go into the fire without the training, or you're going to get burned, right? So.
Would you agree or disagree that that can be done with flexibility within the organization or structure?
Say what specifically can be done with flexibility?
Flexibility onboarding, for instance, like you start the training process, somebody doesn't have the CPT. You start the training process, somebody doesn't have the S. You're not really following what you guys have outlined for us here. Just push them along, though. And so it's not.
I had the team create that based off the model of what we do and what I've seen work. So my advice is always going to be, and this is true past end of 2020. If it's there, follow it, then make it better. You follow me? So I don't want, and I did this with EOS. I did this with the Burn operating system. I tried to create one. The Burn operating system, it comes from the book Traction that was written by Gino Wickman. I didn't make it up. It's just 6 pieces of a pie with 2 core tools under each piece of the pie that make up a business operational infrastructure. So, and now we add to it and make it better. But until we instituted all of its knowledge and didn't think that we had the answers that the book left gaps in, then we applied all of the principles, and then you say, okay, now where's the gaps? And I think that's the way you should probably approach it, is just take the stuff that's verbatim, bring it down, execute on it, and then you can see where the gaps are. It's probably a better way to do it, just more linear, rather than saying, I need to make from scratch an onboarding scenario, where because Pittsford and Webster are so unique and distinct in terms of how they operate. You're not. We recruit, we onboard, we hire, we incentivize, we reward, and we maintain. It's a good question.
Little list here.
No, it's a good question. This is all good stuff.
It's a gym who's 6 years in.
Yep.
Things have changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you want to be a trainer? Let's get you off the floor.
Of course.
Give you the mic. Hey, you want to be a VH? Go stand behind the desk.
Of course.
Totally different and unwinding and redoing.
You are, in a sense. And I'll fall on the sword for that because, listen, we didn't have this early on. There's a reason that you needed to create the processes before, right? But then you get the playbook. It's like, okay, it's a good playbook. Now you don't have to scramble anymore, right? And I think that's the hard part for you, Dola, is like the scramble. You probably find a lot of value in the scramble and utilization and utility in the scramble. Like that's what you add. That's how you add value, right? It's like to figure out complex problems. Well, now it's going to be implementing. Now it's just turning your focus from creating all things to implementing all things. And you may or may not be the best person to do that. That's the honest truth. Maybe it's Vicky. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know her well enough to be able to say that, but I'm the visionary, I'm not the implementer. You put me in charge of implementation, we're gonna end up in a place that no one wants to be. I'll tell you that. We're gonna be somewhere, but it won't be a place that's good.
I just want to get better at it. I know I need to get better at it. I've always said this, these guys know this. I don't want people to be looking for the next front desk job at a gym, because that's not what this is supposed to be. This is a company, an organization. It's not just a gym. I want longevity. I want benefits. I want happy people, challenged, rewarded, all that good stuff. So this has to be fixed.
This is the conversation then we should be having right now, 100%. And like I said, the great thing is, look how far you've come already. And not a lot of this stuff has been implemented or exists. But the one thing that you guys are doing phenomenal at is the blue carpet experience, right? What was the scores you said? You guys got like 71? That's really good, guys. Really good. I'm not expecting you to be perfect every time on that score. What I'm expecting is that you use the tool so that you can use it as a self-assessment material. This is a feedback culture, right? And that's the fundamental, what BOS calls core process. Okay, there's 6 pieces of the pie. Vision is number 1. Number 2 is process. Then it's people. And then it's data. And then it's issues. And then it's traction. All those have a different definition. You can read the book Traction if you're interested in business. And you can learn all the Burn stuff in 4 hours of reading. Yeah, that's your job to give them that stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way that, because it has changed so many times and over the years and whatever, like, has it been communicated to us, the new process? Or is there a new specific process? Because I know, like, Beth keeps asking me, I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Beth asks you,
Kind of like where to go next, like what's the next step, like I've been told I have to go to Pete, I can't shadow anybody else, and I just don't know those types of answers. Yeah. And or BA, she's like, I want to do it, I'm happy to do it, I keep asking.
This is great because this is an issue that in your quarterly meetings, you bring together the team. Remember I said we don't need to do all hands every month or every week. You do all hands once a quarter. And what you guys do as a team is you bring all the issues that you have in that quarter, and we have a whiteboard, and y'all just plaster the issues on the whiteboard. All these things. That way nothing needs to have an answer because it's fundamentally broken, so it doesn't have an answer anyway. So you put it on the whiteboard, and then you're creating an issues list. Oh my gosh, the issues list for me is like the most powerful thing because that's all the inadequacies of the business. And if you don't have problems or inadequacies as a business, then you don't have a business. You're out of business is the only other answer. So bringing the issues forward in a quarterly setting was very, very important. And you don't have to wait to a quarterly setting. I just thought that was a good opportunity. In the quarterly setting, you get an opportunity to throw up the issues and then make the rocks as a team. And you kind of come to that meeting with the preconceived notion that we're going to have critical feedback in this meeting. That way it's not random Tuesday morning, 9:36 a.m., 6 minutes after camp started, critical feedback about something out of frustration. And it's more structured and delivered well and in an environment where everybody's like open-hearted to getting feedback.
in an ideal world, and correct me if I'm wrong, because there's a member who's interested in being a trainer. I think any one of us should be able to go on base camp to some type of how-to folder. How does a member become certified to train? Or how do we start this process?
I didn't know that it had been communicated lately to us, and I just maybe missed it, so that's why I was asking. If there was
If
a
it was in
specific
base camp, like a how-to process, because we need your CPT, we need your SAC to get started.
It's on the hub, all lined up. Brrr. If you want to put it in base camp, do your thing. But the whole process is,
It's just a matter of shooting
It's just-
there, because you don't, not everybody has Frank Connect,
nope.
but onboarding a trainer is, they send in their CPT, they send in their application, they send in their SAC. That's Vicky and I. That all gets approved, they go to Pete, Pete's, trainer checklist.
Yeah, and we have just communication, right? Like that's what cascading messages are for, right? And I'm giving you a bunch of these terminologies because I want you to start to get familiar with them. Cascading messages from the leadership meeting, the important messages, just like that one, that need to go down. And Pete, you have to pay attention to that too, because there's gonna be a lot of cascading messages about training, right? And you're gonna have to really make sure, you have everybody kind of like around, like wrapping arms together, and that you're giving them that information when it comes to you, for sure.
We've been in a scramble a couple times, so we're like, let's just start them shadowing. They'll eventually pass that.
Dude, come on. I'll raise both hands for that. Like, so have I.
It almost always works.
So have I. Which is why we have the Burn operating system, because I didn't like doing it that way. That was the tough way, to just like subjectively choose the pathway based on the person. Processes have to be followed by all. Okay, core processes followed by all. All right. That's good conversation. So the blue carpet experience checklist, that feeds into your level 10 meetings. Okay, that feeds into your weekly meetings. So those scorecards that you get 71 on, it's really good. That actually goes into the cadence of how to fix the issues, right? So BCE goes to level 10. Okay, level 10 has a section called IDS, identify, discuss, solve, and you talk about how to make that solution right then and there. The solution is made, you cascade it, everybody knows. So we're gonna get better at this. We're not gonna get better. We're not gonna get like pristine at it overnight. It's gonna take some time. So give yourself some grace, okay? Realize that we're starting from a fundamentally awesome place. But to get, here's why I'm having this conversation with you all, because to get to where you are at today, to where you all want to go, you're going to have to run the business a different way, right? And we are a business, right? And trainers, like, I know you love the craft, but you are part also of a business. And so we need to make sure that the needs of the business now today and where we want to go are aligned with all the processes that we have. And so it's a really, really good place to be in, because there's just a few fundamental things. You're a few fundamental things away from really going to the next level. And I think that's probably going to happen even if you didn't, but you're just going to get there faster if you do. If you start taking if you all collectively decide that this is important, and that it's followed by all the processes are followed by all the visions followed by all the people are on the same page, then we're going to get somewhere, and pretty quickly, because you guys got it for real. So cool. All right, Zay, you ready to go back to Charlotte, bud? Your arms worked out from the camera. You've been holding a lot of cameras today, man. You've been killing it. Give it up for Isaiah, you guys. You've been all here. He's been here killing the game. You're doing great, man. You're doing great. Thank you, guys. Can I get one more 2 claps on 2? 2 claps on 2, 1, 2.